Are they filming it, doing it someplace else or whatever? Or what are you doing?
She recorded it yesterday.
Oh, okay. You brought that.
And that's another one. Kurt, I told him, can you do the...
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination, though you may find.
Hey, Fushi, everybody. Yes, 2019. Here we are. Thank you for joining me once again at UBNGO Go here in Burbank, California. Oh, yeah, right behind Harry Potter's house. That's the way we doing it this year, okay? So I am so pleased to introduce, I am your host, Tanja, and I'm pleased to introduce my friend, Eleshea. She has come all the way from Downey, California to tell her testimony and her story. And I mean, you guys are in for a treat. So before we get into that, say hi, Eleshea. Hi. So listen, before we get into that, we're so happy to have you. Thank you so much. My audience has been waiting for something like this. People have been hungry for something like this, and thank God. He can use people like you to bring us hope and feed our faith and make us strong. And, it just goes a long way. So I really do appreciate you. And thank God. Plus, I like you because you don't like to eat that much. I got to hang around you more often, girl.
Come on.
You said food is not that important. What you tell me? You got to eat food. The Lord told you to eat food.
Intuitively.
Intuitively. Y'all hear that? That don't spell gluttony. So anyway, when y'all get your little, Thanksgiving dinners and stuff like that, I'm gonna have to go and hang out with her. I'll see y'all, but I'm gonna go over there and hang out with Eleshea so I won't be gaining all that weight that I lost. I lost 14 pounds on my fast.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I lost 14 pounds and I feel great. I feel absolutely great, And so, I was stumbling over. I'm going to do a little current event before we start. Did you know about the mayor? His name is Jermaine Wilson out of Kansas. Jermaine Wilson. Did you hear about him? He's the mayor out of Kansas.
No.
What is it? I think it's Leavenworth. Yes. He's out of Leavenworth, Kansas. Okay. He was a strong felon. When I say strong, he had a strong criminal background, and he turned his life around. First of all, becoming an activist, which is something that you and I both know a lot about, yes. In his community, and really, really caring about what happens to the ex-convicts when they come out and, rehabilitation, on their behalf. He focused on that and, getting them back into the normal realm of life, out here from behind those bars, because it could be, like a foreign world when they come out here. And he has been a very wonderful example, and he liked to say, God has been so good at turning him around. That's his words. And he liked to, thank God for all the, wonderful transformations in his life. And I like to thank God because we need to see people like him. This is a young black man who was, you can see right there. He was a criminal over there, and over here, this is the new him. So when when the Lord say he can do a new thing in your life, this is an example of a new thing that he can do in your life. And this is for the fellas out there and the mothers who really think that they bad sons ain't going to be no more than what they are. That's not true. You know, it is exactly what we want it to be, as long as the God in you believe. You know, if you believe and the God in you is big enough and your faith is big enough, you know, is your God big enough in you, you know, for you to complete tasks like this? Apparently, this man was on the right track. You know, he has to serve the same God we serve in order for his life to have turned out the way it has. So I want to just say big ups to you, Jermaine Wilson, for now you are the mayor and you are doing big things out there in Kansas, and we're going to continue to pray for you, and we're going to also hope that it spreads out here in Los Angeles, California. Maybe one of these young men can, you know, change their life around just from seeing that right there.
Yep.
So that was my current event for today. So now to you, Eleshea.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I brought you here because you have survived kidney failure and a stroke.
Yes.
And you have some PowerPoints, and you're going to share with us your experience, you know, before and all the things that contributed to that situation in your life.
Right.
So, wherever you want to start.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I'd like to thank you for having me here.
You're so welcome.
And so my journey is started as young as 9 months old. And I basically contracted bacterial spinal meningitis, and I'm an 80s baby. So I was born in 1981. And at that time, they didn't really know how to cure illnesses and different things that was going on. But so they figured, why not give me a high dose of antibiotics? Well, with that, the antibiotics, they didn't realize what damage it would do, you know, because it was still kind of new. They were still going through everything, trying to figure things out. So at around 9 years old, I started exhibiting signs of what we thought was just me just having swollen ankles and puffy eyes. But my mom took me to the pediatrician, and from there they sent me over to a nephrologist. And I was diagnosed after having a biopsy. They diagnosed me with nephrotic syndrome. And basically that's where your kidneys leak blood and urine into your protein. So after that, we advanced to 17 years. They performed another renal biopsy, and there they found me to have FSGS, which is basically focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. And that's the hardening of the filters of the kidneys. And they told me that I would eventually need dialysis. And, you know, I was in denial. I was 17. So I was like, oh, well, they don't know what they're talking about, right? So we're progressing 8 years later to me being 25 years old. So at that point, I was, I was very swollen. So I was hospitalized, and there they gave me a high dose of Lasix, and that brought all the fluid down off my body. And so at that point, while in the hospital, I basically prayed to God to give me a testimony that would heal people when they heard it. And, you know, I was just going through the motions. Not necessarily going through the motions, just like shooting a breeze, but I didn't know that I would receive the testimony that I have today to share. So shortly after I was hospitalized, due to low fluid, high fluid retention and low hemoglobin, I was told that my kidney function was declining and that I would be placed on dialysis within a couple years' time. So after a couple months, after turning 27, so now we're talking about 2 years later, I challenged the devil and told him to bring it on.
You said
So-
bring it on.
Yeah, I sure did.
Bring it on, Satan. She said, okay. I know
Because
that's right.
I had made it through my going, being 25 and having a fluid retention, and I had made it past that, so it couldn't get any worse than that, right? Boy, was I wrong. So a few months later, February 2009, my health was rapidly declining to the point where I was at a crawl. And I was so bad where I couldn't get in and out of bed. I would only have enough energy to take my 8-year-old daughter to school, come home, and get into bed, and lay there all day, and then muster enough energy to get up to go and pick her up from school and come back home and lay in the bed. So I was literally dying. And I couldn't keep anything down, and I didn't think anything of it. I just figured, okay, well, maybe it's the flu or something, because my body was aching. I was just hurting. And it was that bad, like I stated before, that I was literally down to a crawl. And I didn't think much was wrong, It was February, so why not consider it to be the flu? So Saturday, February 28th, I just couldn't take it anymore, of 2009. So I drove myself to the ER, and there they told me that if I hadn't come in within 3 days, I would have been dead.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So while in the ER, I was given what's known as a Quinton catheter, and basically they placed a catheter in my chest, where immediately I started hemodialysis that same day. So, April of the same year, I started peritoneal dialysis, and that wasn't so bad. I mean, it was a very terrifying situation for me because I didn't really know what to expect, and I just knew that people who were on dialysis didn't make it, they ended up dying. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this is the end of my life. I'm not going to make it. And so basically from February to August, which was 6 months, my blood pressure was out of control. So I was working very closely with my nephrologist to go ahead and get that under control. Unfortunately.
What was it, your blood pressure?
Yeah, blood pressure was really high. Yeah, and he
I
said,
have high blood pressure.
try to get it under control.
Yeah.
Work to get it under
I
control.
know.
Yeah.
Lifestyle.
Yeah. Good thing for you is you still have your kidneys. So my kidneys, they were pretty much gone. So they weren't able to regulate my blood pressure the way they needed to. So my blood pressure was higher than normal. You know what I mean? But yeah, do whatever you can to
reverse that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Get your
it will
blood
be
pressure
reversed.
under control.
It will be, because that's something that I have in my power to do. I don't have to eat the stuff that I normally eat. I can say no. I can push away from it. So and
Most
it's all about the
definitely.
lifestyle and stuff like that. When you begin to
Most definitely.
have things like that happen, there's a way
Yeah.
that you can help
Right.
it, including the heart.
Yep.
You can
Most
help your
definitely.
heart heal healthy, and it'll even form its own bypass. So
Exactly.
I know that to be
Yeah,
true.
I agree.
What we eat,
I
like you.
agree.
On the way over here, I was like, girl, I've been fasting. I really am hungry. I was like, but I haven't been able to eat like I normally eat because my bishop, hey bishop, City of Refuge,
Hey, Bishop.
Noel Jones, hey. I haven't been able to reach my bishop lately. I've been trying to reach my bishop, and you know what? It shouldn't be that hard for me to reach my bishop, but it's been hard for me to reach my bishop. Not because of him. It's just that he got a lot of people guarding him, and a lot of people that you gotta sometimes go through just to get to where you got to go. So it could be hard, which is a challenge within itself. So I don't mind it because I know once I talk to him personally and shake his hand on one of those Sundays, he decides to sit down and have everybody come up and say hi, then I know I can get my meeting. Then I know I can get my meeting. But yeah, I haven't been able to really eat anything that that I normally eat, it has been rejecting. My body has been rejecting it, and I know that that's the Lord because the bishop put us on a fast. Like everybody normally goes on the fast after New Year's. All the churches from somewhere, from everywhere, from every denomination, they usually go on a fast, right? So that's one thing I could say we're all unified with. So we got to start loving each other at the same time. When Ramadan and all of those things go on, we got to understand that we should be getting with those people in Ramadan, and we should be fasting with them, because as long as we unite, and pray together, then some things can really, really happen, and we can drive them forces out, them evil forces, them dark forces, them Trump forces, whatever you want to call it. They can be gone. Trump can be somebody totally different by the time we all get through fasting all over the world. Trump could be a whole new man. So some things can really happen. So I thank God for that fast, because he made us go on. Normally they do the Daniel fast right away. We went on the fast like Ramadan. We didn't eat, like they don't eat sun up to sundown. We didn't eat just after midnight all the way till 4 o'clock the next day, nothing to eat. Yeah, if you had to have a little sip of water for medication and, purposes like that, then that's fine. But just to be snacking and eating and stuff like that before 4, we didn't do nothing. So now my body is arrested to being healthy. Yeah. and I'm so glad that he put it in shackles, because it was all over the place, just doing all kind of stuff, just eating everything, just doing everything, and it was bad. It was like my body was hoeing. I was hopping all over the place, girl, eating everything. So he put it to rest, honey, and he said, "No, you're not gonna do that no more. When you through with this fast, you gonna be." Discipline. And now I'm not even having anything to do with it, but my body is like, oh, girl, I'm not eating that. What? You want what? No, we don't want that. So I say thank you, Jesus, because I know it's him that has changed my whole appetite and the way I think about food. And food is just, guys, it's not that important. We love it, but it's important for us to live and sustain life, but, you do it as an experience, and, lately we just indulge in it, you know what I'm saying? I'm mad. I want to go out to eat. He make me sick. Girl, let's go out to eat. Girl, he want to take me out to eat. Everything is about eating for pleasure. Pleasure has become eating, and I think that my bishop did a good thing by, putting us all on a diet, because I was happy. I was so big. I was like, girl, I get a chance to fast and lose some weight. I can't wait to fast. I couldn't wait to fast just so I can lose some weight. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad, but it sure worked, and I'm happy. And in the middle of that, I end up contacting you during my fast. And he and you said, you had been thinking about me and coming on the show. And I met you when I started the show well over 6 months ago. And that's when I talked to you about the show. I met you at Bernard's on the east side off Avalon and 120th. And Bernard's was good too. And I met you there, and we, you talked about it, and you said, I said, well, would you mind being a guest on my show at that time? And you said, well, I don't know, I'll think about it, because I'm really not ready to tell my story. But I said, well, the more you tell your story, the more God is going to open up doors for you. It's going to heal others. It's going to, make some beautiful things happen in your life, because that's what he does when you testify. It's not for our glory. It's for his. It's not even for yours. He wants you to do that so that, he can do other things for you. And you already knew that, because you expressed that to me, that he had already told you that. And you came and you was like, I got to call her. And then here I am in the middle of my fast, fighting my own demons, probably cussing and fussing after 4, drinking tequila, because I got my own demons with my own issues, and I be constantly like, Lord, people, deliver me from people, because sometimes people can really, make you backslide, make you, feel like, oh my God, whatever it's worth, I'm about to just slap the mess out of this heifer right here. Right. But God, God don't want us to resort to that. So he definitely put people like you in the midst to allow us to see that his obedience is how he rewards us. And because I was obedient, even when I was acting up, I was still obedient, and I was still following his instructions about I can't eat this and I got to do this till after 4, and you know what I mean? And go and call her, reach out to her now, not tomorrow, now, right this minute, and I did that. And you were actually spiritually reaching out to me, and God knew that. So us communicating was not me, it wasn't you, it was all spiritual, and I do believe it's because I was fasting. So I thank God for that. Yeah.
Thank you for your obedience.
Oh, girl, to God be the glory. I got to be obedient again, girl, because we going on another fast tomorrow. We stopped on the 31st, but we're going on the Daniel fast now for 21 days. Right. So I'm okay with it, I'm good with that because I get to lose some more weight. You know what I mean? And I don't have to go back to just pigging out or trying to eat this and trying to eat that. It's like, nope. You're going to start off light. So enough of me, and back to you. And so your daughter, you mentioned you were taking care of your daughter at 8. And so how old is she now?
20.
Oh, 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She's that's right. You did tell me 20. I asked you that already.
She's a junior in college.
She's in college. And the name of her college is?
California Baptist University.
California Baptist University. And she's taking up?
Psychological anthropology and business.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
People like us, we need her today.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
We need that. So many kids, they go into taking up, a lot of other traits because they heard somebody else take it, or, it sounds intriguing, or it sounds like, or they go in it for money. And, you don't really hear people going into college for that.
Right.
Anthropology. Yeah. So she's already in, I believe, in her calling. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's good. Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You proud of her?
Very proud. Very proud.
She's
Mama.
proud of you.
Thank you. Yes, she is.
She's proud of you too.
She is.
Yeah. That's a wonderful thing. Yeah. Well, you have a very lovely home in Downey. I was pulling up to your house, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful.
Thank you.
I love it, and I love the whole block. It's really, really, really nice. And you grew up over there?
Thank you. Kind of. Yeah, kind of. I spent 14 years in L.A., around the corner from Bernard's. And then I spent 22 years in Downey.
Oh, okay. So, that's good because you know both sides. You know there's quite a difference from 120th and Avalon and Downey.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Girl, yeah. But thank God, I guess we didn't used to say thank God for gentrification, but now we all going, thank God for gentrification. Thank God for gentrification. At first we was like, oh no, they're all moving in. We're not going to have anything. And now it's like everything is starting to look pretty much normal. Like you can go outside and you don't have to worry about all the gang banging because they coming to get you. You best believe they coming to get you because them white folks are not going to live around no gang banging.
No,
they not going to do that. And it's about damn time that we don't have to live around it too. So, so we got to take the good with the bad. And we can all get along, damn it. We can all get along, okay? They can show us some things and we can show them some things. We can appreciate each other. Appreciate
most
each
definitely,
other.
Most definitely.
My neighbors do. I do.
Yeah.
And we began to take a liking to each other, like when you get to seeing each other for the past year, the same neighbors, white or black, you become family. Because, honey, when somebody come crawling to your door thinking they going to do something, you better be friends with the neighbors next door across the street. Did you see? Well, ain't nobody seen nothing, girl, please. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But then when they your neighbor and your family, I mean, that's almost like you take it personal. Okay, if you gonna break in their house, then that means you gonna break in my house. And you know what? We are not standing for that. And that's where the
Exactly.
unity come in. We
Most
got to do
definitely.
something, and y'all need to stop thinking that out there that it's okay to watch people do crimes to each other because you don't want the police to know that you saw what you saw. Listen, let me tell you something. All of that, oh, you know what? You're a snitch. You're a snitch. If you're snitching for the right reasons, if it's somebody who trying to kill you, you better snitch. You better tell on that person that's trying to kill you. Because you keeping it a secret ain't gonna do no good if you here or gone. Ain't nobody gonna know a damn thing.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
So I can see if you being nosy and prying into somebody's business, and sometimes we see things that we don't want to see, and sometimes you can't. You got to just leave it alone because we can't save the world. And sometimes you got to think about it now. If I say something, then it's going to come back to me, and then my family's in jeopardy, and I understand that part. But if somebody is actually bringing harm to you, ladies, beating you up every day, and you tell me, I don't want to call the police. See, that's just stupidity. You need to call the police because I bet they get some act right when the police come, and you don't need to warn them that you about to do it.
Right.
You need to go somewhere and do it when they least expect it because they starting to kill people for opening up their big mouth. The boyfriends and the girlfriend and all that. You gonna call the police on me? You gonna call? No, you're not. And then by that time, you gonna be dead and gone. But y'all need to quit being scared of these people and start trusting in God. Don't take the law into your own hand. Now, if you ain't ready to shoot nobody dead and you ain't got no pistol on you right away, and that person is always, and you ain't ready to face that crime, what you should be ready to do is to do the right thing so that you won't have to go to jail. And then that you won't have to be dead. You can do them both. You can do both the favor. Do you the favor and do them the favor by putting them away so that they can have some things to think about. Because I know some people who were very, 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 very sorry that they killed their other half and out of anger, out of drugs, out of ego. They're sorry about that. At the time, anger plays a part, and it's like a real demon there.
Yeah.
It knows love. It does not know love. It does not know respect the person. It doesn't know anything but to kill, steal, and destroy. So people need to understand that you got to do the right thing. You'll be helping that person from spending the rest of their life in jail, and you'll be helping from you probably getting peeled off of this earth sooner than what God needed you to be. You gotta just get over that. And don't nobody want to hear the word police because half of them is crooked and they gangsters and we don't trust them. Hell, I don't trust half of them either. But I do trust that they have a job to do, and so you need to let them do their job. And I wanted to mention that because I have so much domestic violence going on today, and so many females that are held captive, like the R. Kelly thing, afraid to tell and afraid to open their mouth, and they silenced, and what the hell are you afraid of? You afraid of living? Are you afraid of living? Because you rather somebody take control of your life. God is a jealous God. And so you can't have nobody else controlling you. R. Kelly cannot be controlling y'all. Somebody has to put him behind bars. He's one of the ones who definitely has to go behind bars.
Yep.
He has ruined a lot of lives, So, with that being said, what's on your agenda next before we go to the break?
Oh, okay. So yeah, after my blood pressure, me trying to get my blood pressure under control. With my nephrologist, I was instructed by God to go to the ER, and that was August 10th because that Friday, August 14th, I was due to go in to get my blood pressure medicine regulated. And I was kind of fighting the feeling, but I went ahead and I called my mom to see what the signs symptoms of a stroke were, which I already know because I'm a nurse. So I just
Are you really?
Yeah, I just had to make sure that I
I'm a
was
nurse
not
too, girl.
tripping.
I'm a nurse too. Did you know I was a nurse?
Yeah. You
Oh,
told
okay.
me. You told me. And so I walked into the ER and I told them, I said, I think I'm having a stroke. And the nurse kind of looked at me because, I was just talking regular like I'm talking with you. And I was there with my boyfriend at the time. And he, we were laughing and playing because they took me to the room back there and they took my blood pressure. My blood pressure was like 200 something over 180 something. And so they were like, go in the room and we'll have the doctor come in and assess you. So I was in there and I was getting undressed, but my arm, it was a certain way. And I told him, I said, pull my arm. And he said, I'm pulling it. I said, no, I got a cramp. I pulling it hard enough. Next thing I know, I woke up 6 days later. I had a stroke. I was completely
It was your left arm, wasn't it?
Right arm.
It was your right arm?
Yeah. I was completely paralyzed.
See, and everybody's so focused on the left side.
Yeah, I had a left side bleed, so it affected my right side. And
that's in stroke. And when it's your heart, it's always your left arm.
Yeah.
But when it's a stroke, it could be either.
Yeah. So I had to learn how to sit up again because when I sit in a chair, I would fall out of it. I had to learn how to tie my shoes. I had to learn how to bathe myself again. I had to learn how to dress myself. I had to learn how to do everything.
Was your speech slurred?
Yes, only for the first 6 weeks. And then after that, now I talk regular. I have full function of my right side, but not below my knee. Below my knee, I still have below the knee residual. So I walk with a limp because the muscle is still weak over there.
You go to therapy for that?
No, actually, I've never had therapy like that.
So is that what you meant when you told me, oh, I told the Lord I wasn't all the way healed yet?
Yes.
Oh,
exactly
Lord
what
Jesus.
I was saying. Yeah.
And he said, if you don't get up out there and tell you here, ain't you? You can talk, can't you? And you can walk. What is a limp? That's nothing. That's a sign of my glory. That's what he's telling you. And you got so much more to
I even told him, I said, Lord,
be thankful for.
I guess I'm Jacob. And he sent me to a church, and the guy was a prophet. And I didn't believe it because I don't just fall for everybody saying
neither do I, girl. Neither do I.
I told the Lord, I said, okay, Lord, if this guy is real, then you have to show me that he's real.
Amen.
So the guy, he said, you, come here. So I went over to where he was. He said, the Lord says you are not Jacob. Nobody knew I had that conversation but God.
The Lord. So that would, girl, give me 5. Because if I don't see the sign, you better not come telling me that you're a prophet and trying to speak into my life. Because God also gives us a discernment. So we ain't got to take the first thing we hear from somebody who says they're a prophet. You better know God for yourself because he'll give you a discernment and he'll help you understand that this is a messenger sent from me. Yep. Y'all better understand that.
Yep. So I was 28 then. Well, not with the prophet situation, but I was in my 30s. But I was 28 when I had the stroke. And so fast forwarding to 4 years later, or 6 years after the stroke, at age 34, I experienced a complication from peritoneal dialysis. And basically peritoneal dialysis is where I do dialysis in my peritoneal cavity. And it's a fill, a dwell, and a drain. So basically I fill my cavity with a concentrated dialysate, and it sits there for about an hour, hour and a half, and then it drains.
It drains.
Yeah, and so that pulls all the toxins from the day into my body. Out of my body. And so I have 2 options. I could either put it in a bag, or it drains into a bag, or it drains into the toilet. The toilet is easier for me. But let's see. And that's done daily. Whereas hemo, which is the blood, it's done every other
3
day.
days,
So,
every other day.
Yeah, so it's 3 times a week.
Also, the peritoneal is got to be draining. You
Well,
get tired every day.
Well, actually, it's a little different. It's not as taxing as them recycling my blood.
Oh, like on
Yeah.
the regular, like on the hemo.
Yeah, so now they actually recommended peritoneal to me because of my age, and because I was younger, and it allowed me a better quality of life. So I'm able to do
Amen.
everything that everybody else does.
Where you go to your doc? Who's your doc? It ain't Kaiser, huh?
No.
I knew it wasn't
Definitely
Kaiser
not.
if they doing all of that, because
Definitely
Kaiser ain't gonna do all that, y'all. Kaiser is just a brand. It used to be where Kaiser really cared, but it's not like that anymore. It's all about money with
Kaiser is a
Kaiser.
brand.
It's just a brand. But, with your situation, I see your doctors were very, 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 very proactive with you and
They
very
were.
thorough. And
They were.
that's God too, because he said, I am thy God, thy healer. And, he will become everything you need inside of hospital setting, even
Exactly.
a surgeon, whenever the time presents itself. And that's what he did for you. He sent you to the right people,
Yep.
and he had the right surgeons, and look at you now.
Yeah, and he did because, I was under the care of a physician, a nephrologist, and we think he's part of the reason why I did develop the complication, because he was giving me too much of something that my body didn't need at the time. And it's basically calcium, and that
that was the
calciphylaxis. Yes, that led to calciphylaxis, and according to Wikipedia, calciphylaxis, also known as calcific uremic arteriolopathy, is a rare and painful syndrome of calcification of the small blood vessels located within the fatty tissue and deeper layers of the skin, blood clots, and the death of skin cells due to too little blood flow. It results in chronic non-healing wounds and is usually fatal. And mine was very, very, very painful.
That's revelation again.
Yeah.
She has come up out of a stroke, and now you came up out of that.
Yes, and in the beginning we thought it was cellulitis, and so a muscle biopsy was performed, which made it very aggressive. It made the calciphylaxis aggressive. So at that point, my mom sought out a different nephrologist, so I switched nephrologists.
It was taking over your body.
Yeah.
Like a cancer.
Yeah, and with that nephrologist, because he had
devil is
experience
a
with
lie.
it before, we found that my body was holding on to too much calcium and phosphorus. So the excess phosphorus and calcium caused 4th and 5th degree burns from my waist down to my knees. Now, everybody's affected differently. Some men, their love organ, their sex organ is affected negatively, and it will fall off.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like setting, it actually kills the organ.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
the body part.
Yeah. And so I was hospitalized for 3 months because they were trying to get my pain under control. And at that time, they eventually, after the 3rd month, they found that putting me on 2 of the highest strength of, or the maximum strength of Percocets worked, along with morphine 2 times daily, the maximum dose.
How long do you have to take all of that?
I took it for approximately 9 months.
Oh, Jesus. And how did that go?
Actually, I wasn't addicted. Thank God for that.
That was God. Yes, Lord.
But the
Thank you,
pain
Jesus.
was under control, but I was still in a great deal of pain. But that was the only thing that they could do for me because I had so many other allergies to other medicines.
Well, honey, it don't matter because you didn't feel it anyway, honey, because, the body was, like dead, but God was spiritually bringing you back alive. So you didn't feel it. You don't
Hence
like
that song.
That's that song. So we about to go straight. We got to go straight to that because that lets you know, that just a normal person, like with a lot of energy and that's not going through those complications. Talking about I got pain in my knee. I need some Oxycontins and I need some Percocet. The reason why we feel the way we feel, too high or out of it, is because we don't need it anyway. Somebody like you didn't even know. It didn't even take an effect on you. And that to me is the power of God also. Yep. When medicine that strong, you're not even aware that you're on it. Your body is in a supernatural form of healing. That's what I think. That's how I look at the situation. So with that being said, I know you had one of the favorite artists, Christian contemporary music. And and not to infringe on anybody's copyrights, and this video does not belong to me, and I don't have any copyrights to this video, and this is just for the purpose of the testimony here on my show Testimony. And I have to say that because, even though he's not a well-known artist, I don't want them to take it off the show and be like, oh, she's trying to, infringe on somebody's copyrights. And you just have to say that. But I have a scripture that I want to read before we go there, because it's one of those things where he said, that he first of all, he also told us that he was the way, the truth, and the life, that no man cometh unto the Father but through him. And I do believe that. But he said that he also was the resurrection and the life, meaning that he who believes in me, through him, though he may die. He who believes in me, he said, though he may die, he shall live. And then he said, and whoever lives and believe in me shall never die. So then he asked right then and there, he asked Martha, do you believe this? Mm-hmm. And Martha said yes. And this is when he was calling Lazarus forth from the dead, which she was crying over and wanting him to come back alive right away. And he did it at his time, but he asked her first, do you believe that this is what I can do? I can bring the dead and I can make them live again. And she said, yes. And you told me something in the car and you said, God asked you, did you believe? Do you trust him? Mm-hmm. And you told him yes. So I do believe that, like you said, that song is a part of your testimony. So we're going to go to the break right now and listen to that song. Come back and talk about the rest before we go home.
I am the living dead. You are the opposite. We're like fire and ice. Only one can survive. My will departed. Light is in your eyes. To mine, I am a valuable, covered in stone, nothing more than human. Until you know body and soul, you call me, 'cause only with you the dead come to life, dead come to life. Only with you the dead come to life, dead come to life. Only with you I am a foreigner, caught in the crossfire. Oh, I and paralyzed by the battle cries. Can you hear it? Light is in your eyes, reach into mine. I am a valley of bones covered in stone, nothing more than human. Until you know body and soul, you're calling me, 'cause only with you the dead come to life, dead come to life. Only with you the dead come to life, dead come to life. Only with you we are the dry and thirsty sand. Oh, oh, upon this dry and thirsty land. Oh, oh, but you speak life into the flesh, breathing air into the dead, dead. A valley of bones covered in stone, nothing more than human. Until you're known, body and soul, you're calling me, 'cause only with you the dead come to life, dead come to life. Only with you the dead come to life, dead come to life. Only with you the yeah, only with you the dead come to life.
Hey. Ay, ay, ay. All I can say is hallelujah to that, you know, because the dead comes to life. Only with him, the dead comes to life. And I can see why you picked that song. Oh my God, that
I
song
was
is
dead. Now I'm alive, you know?
Amen.
It was
Amen.
death all in my eyes, and just like this whole testimony, you know? It just spoke death. But here I am alive today to share it, you know? And I'm a new person because of it. It took me some years to get there. 10 years.
Yes, and you give a lot of good advice. I'm rooting on her, guys, to have her own podcast as a nurse advisor, because here's somebody who researches lots of issues that aren't even hers. That has to be a calling, and to me, that is exactly where your calling is, to help others out there, you know, who can't sit down at Kaiser and talk for 30 minutes to their doctor about whatever their condition is, who won't give them the details and, you know, things along with the diets or whatever you research. That's a gift, and I just hope and pray that you continue that journey, because among a lot of other things that I know you do, journalism and constructive writing, I believe that that it all ties in together, and I truly strongly believe that a podcast like that is needed in this world. You know, we can listen to that not only in California but all over the world. People want to know, you know, and you know, you don't need to have certain credentials in order to be knowledgeable about the things that's going on in the medical field. You could do your own research, you know, just like you don't need a degree to preach the word of God, you know, but you do need to study to show yourself approved. The same situation, you know, and I think that you have studied and you have shown yourself approved by God to be able to qualify you to be able to talk to people and share with them the questions that they may have, and I just hope that you continue that journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you do. And I want to read another scripture from John 10:9, and he says, I am the door. Just like he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He also says, I am the door. And if anyone enters by me, he will be saved. And he will go in and out and find pastures. So he's the door. And you already know that. So go find your pastures. Go find your pastures. And then it also says, the thief does not come except to steal, kill, and destroy. And we all know that. But he come so that we all may have life. And that we all may have life more abundantly. So a lot of times, the things that we desire are just a prayer away. All we have to do is ask. All we have to do is believe. All we have to do is know that, you know what I'm saying, this is something that we want to do. And, you know, as long as it's in the will of God and anything that's not harmful to you, you know, I believe that God will make it happen. And I encourage you, and I'm inspired by you, especially the fact that, you know, after talking to you, I really want to hurry up and finish my journey with this diet plan. Not a diet. It's not a diet, y'all. Stop dieting. It's lifestyle change, okay? And I'm excited about my lifestyle change, and it's people like you who inspire people like me to want to live healthy and be healthy, and, you know, be able to, you know, reverse some of the things, like, you know, what they say, my A1C says that I'm straddling the fence on diabetic. Yeah, yes. Borderline diabetic, and I don't want that. I can reverse that by the things that I eat, the lifestyle that I live, and the people that I hang around. So, so, you know, with that being said, and high blood pressure also, you know, I thank God that we both are alive and living healthy, and that we are in his divine purpose and his divine health and his divine will. And I ask him to continue to do so in Jesus' name. And I thank him for the revelations. And y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I don't know what you know about the God you serve, but the God I serve and the God she served, the God we serve, he has shown us revelation. And we will continue to serve him, and we will continue to do the work of God and continue to be obedient to his word and listen and hear him out. We will continue to do that no matter what comes against us as far as people are concerned, because that don't mean we no saint, because we want to do the right thing. So God is going to continue to bless us and guide us and give us strength, you know, hide us in trouble and, you know, sit us down when we ain't acting right, you know, certain things that we do, we know we ain't supposed to be doing. God is in control of it all. And, you know, as long as he knows your heart, you know, and your heart should want to do right, then he'll make it right. So with that being said, you know, we are at the end of the show, and I want to thank you guys for joining me once again for a whole new season of testimony. And I want to thank Tony Sweets here at UBN Go. That is UBNGO. And we're now in the lovely city of Burbank, California. I'm telling you right now, it's beautiful. I can see Hollywood, and I can see Harry Potter's little old house, whatever that is, that little witch castle. That little witch castle over there. And you know what? It's all right, because Harry Potter, you know, whatever he stands for, listen, y'all, God said that we have to love our enemies, and we have to love everybody, and we have to love even those who don't worship like us. And it don't matter if they're into whatever they're into, witchcraft or whatever. You don't delete them from the program. You add them to the list of prayers, and you keep them close to your heart, because that's what God needs us to do in order to change things, okay? So we can't be judging people like that, and you can't be afraid of things like that, because the God in us is bigger than anything in the world. So greater is he that is in me than anything in this world. So there's no need for fear. He didn't give you a spirit of fear, but a spirit of love and a sound mind and power. So use it. And until next time, we will see you guys soon. Ciao.
Bye.
and take the trip. Though there may be wet road ahead and you cannot slip.
I know. I just got a call from the, remember that I was telling the guy that wrote the book about the curse of Oak Island? Yeah. So she called me and said,